first of all, it's the centerpiece of any party. You always go, even if it's a wedding, you go and you look at the cake first. I know you love the bride and the groom and all that, but you want to see the cake.
You know how the familias, they got big gatherings and everybody brings a plate of food, and especially on birthdays, that cake is the centerpiece, is the sweet part at the end of this long day of sharing and talking and laughing.
I have always had a sweet tooth. I think my earliest memories of going into a bakery, my dad used to come home and he would take me to a little bakery down in eastern North Carolina where I grew up. And there's so many pastries, cookies, and everything to choose from. But for some reason, I zeroed in on the cream horns. Like, I remember that vividly. That was my first taste of a cream horn or any kind of buttercream icing. To this day, when I see cream horns, that's always what I gravitate to. But, there's just something about that just reminds you of your childhood, and that special memory you had.
I have known Russ with J.RussellCakes for, it's got to be over 9 years. We were looking for bakers, and there was words going around, as church does, and they said that he was an amazing baker. And we asked for a beautiful, very simple, purple spiral cake with a couple embellishments, and he delivered, and it was amazing. It tasted great, and everyone stopped and looked at the cake before they went back to their party. And that's when you know you've got a great baker.
I've known Russ now for about 9 years, and I've seen his artsy side, at church, and how he's very much gifted there. And when I saw that Russ was starting to make cakes, I was shocked and completely surprised at his detail, placing everything. The cakes look so unbelievable. When he made the cake for my daughter's birthday, we hadn't told my daughter about it yet. And when she saw it, she was totally like, I thought she was gonna start crying. And because the cake was so beautiful, this unicorn cake that he just took his time and detail, and his love just poured out all over this cake, and my daughter just loved it. And on top of it looking beautiful, the cake tasted amazing.
I remember growing up, when I got older, and I would come home from school in the afternoons. My parents would be working, so I'd always go to my grandma's house. My grandmother, she couldn't go out and work a traditional job. She had to do something from home to make money. She was raising these 5 kids. And so my grandmother taught herself how to sew, and she taught herself how to bake. But I would come home and I would watch her do these cakes, and she taught herself how to do wedding cakes. So I never, really had the opportunity to do cake or a cake with her. Until my mom, got married, and my mom, said, hey, can you and grandma make this cake together? And I thought, man, that'd be, an awesome opportunity. My grandmother's the one that instilled in me just the creativity that I have, the artistic side that I have. All of that really came from her. So the cake that we did was a typical cake like my grandmother would have done. With the fountain and the staircase that came down with the bride and grooms and everything, and we had hand painted, just like she always did. And I remember one of the things about her that would always mesmerize me when I'd watch her do cakes was string work. Like, seeing her do this intricate string work on cakes, it was flawless, the way she had taught herself to do that. And I remember when we did this cake together that she gave me the job of doing the string work. It almost felt like a passing of the torch, for me. That left me speechless, to know that she had trusted me that much, and that she, with, this big cake that we were doing, and that she believed in me that much, that she didn't want the credit for it. She wanted to see me excel in that. It's a very demanding job. The restaurant business in general is very demanding. Being on your feet, it's exhausting. But going through the whole process of putting a cake together, the moment when the client comes to pick up the cake, or if I've done a cake for a first birthday, I get asked, all the time, is it hard to see a kid, tear your cake apart? Or for a wedding cake, when I've spent hours upon hours, on every minute detail, for the cake. But for me, it's a simple answer to that, no, it's not hard at all, because to me, it's that moment that makes it all worth it. When I see a bride's reaction to my wedding cake that I've created for her special day, when you see the happiness and the joy that it's brought to them, it makes it all worth it. You know, these aren't just cakes I'm doing. These are memories that people are capturing. They'll look back on, you know, for years to come. And that's really what drives me.
I think that there's something in our society that just loves good food, and he always delivers that.
You should go tell your mom and dad to get a cake from J.RussellCakes.